Distractions, daydreams, depression, and anxiety. Diary of a Child of God. Episode 4. 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and He will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with temptation, He will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. Dear God, I don't remember when I started daydreaming, or when it became maladaptive daydreaming. But I thank you, God, for taking me out of that loop and fantastical fantasy cycle. This was one of my first major distractions from God. And so was my depression, anxiety, fears, and so on. All distracted me in some way and prevented or slowed my growth in God. For anything or anyone that does not bring you closer to God can take away from your relationship and connection to God. Dear Lord, forgive me. For many times past, I looked to my fantasies to soothe my pain, hurts, and heartache, and did not look to you, and you are the sweetest one I know. And now I know, in all my struggles, fears, and hurts, to come to you and be comforted by your grace. No one has loved me or taken care of me like you have, my Lord. No one on earth has even come close to providing the love and care of your benevolent grace. At times past, I even became taken over and lost to my daydreams. Thankfully, God helped me, and it was hard and a journey full of failure and regression, but I learned to trust God, and slowly the addiction was behind me, and the habit was no longer practiced by me. I still have a vivid imagination, but I don't practice daydreaming anymore like how I used to. Depression was another one of my struggles, another thing that I overcame in time through God's grace. So, my friend watching and listening, if there be anything you're going through, stick with God, allow God into your heart, into your life and circumstances. Let Him do something new in you and heal you. It'll take time, but if you stay with God, it'll be time well spent. Depression isn't pretty, it hurts and it's heavy. It brings along friends, toxic thoughts to tell you all the worst things and keep you down in the dark. And there are so many other things that can come as a result of depression as well. That's one of them. Depression is also a crown of darkness that makes it hard to see the light unless you have Christ. And all of a sudden, the light pierces through. God makes depression lighter. The burden of carrying such a crown would bend you over. But with God, you can finally stand taller and notice the beauty of things and the people around you. So, you come out of your head and consider what's happening around you, and consider those around you and close to you. Anxiety. It's like madness, bizarre in its nature, yet it made me hold back and restrict my own laughter and movements, just so I wouldn't appear odd in any way. I walked like I was on a stage every day with terrible stage frights and millions of eyes watching me with judgment. I'm thankful yet again how over time God's love and guidance in my life slowly released me from the jittering grips of anxiety and continuous unease and discomfort. Believe me, I am grateful. These are all distractions and mental struggles to take away from a connection with God, but if you trust God to help you with any of these struggles and more, they can help build your relationship with God. You'll remember how God took you from that and those struggles to better in time. God will take you from that place. Give Him time and stick with the Lord. Just let God in, trust and obey, and in time, you'll be in a better place. Finally, here's what I have to say. My journey to freedom from my mental, psychological, and emotional struggles seemed long in the beginning. And in the past, I truly felt that my life was just going to be miserable for the remainder of it. I thought that was life for me, and that was that. I struggled with God. And following the Lord was hard at the beginning. It increased my struggles because I was being molded by God. I was in so much pain and hurt, more than I can share right now, and I allowed God in to change me and improve my circumstances, and God was leading me to grow in character. And all the sins that I was wrapped up in, God was peeling it off of me, while I was still clinging onto my sin. And daydreaming in itself isn't sinful, but the things I daydreamed about, they were not glorifying God and were very sinful. But my daydreams were my comfort and happiness in those times. God was trying to get me to go to Him for all my pain and anguish, but instead I daydreamed maladaptively at that. And that actually had consequences and costs to me more than my focus on God and the things of God. No, it cost me more than just my focus. I was forgetful, absent-minded, maladaptive daydreaming added onto my depression because my reality was a sharp contrast to my daydreams, and my reality was miserable. I would also lose sleep because I daydreamed constantly, wasted my time and hours on my day. Dissociating was also an issue for me, and made easy by my constant daydreaming. But after walking with God and sticking to God, which I honestly believe that I was able to stick with God even though I felt hard-pressed on all sides. And God was pulling me off of my happy pill, daydreaming, when my reality was still a dim horror. That's how I described it. I was able to stick with God because I had no other options, no other help, and God was all I had. So I hung on even though it hurt, which I'm really grateful for that segment of my life and having God. I'm really happy that I was able to stick with God because God brought me out. And God wasn't trying to cause me more pain. He was mending what was broken, and I was broken, with many scars and addicted to daydreaming. Addiction requires treatment, and that treatment for me was God. It hurt when He was trying to break my daydreaming cycles, but I'm so happy for where I am now. I'm happy that I stuck with God. I cried many times, but in the end, I'm laughing. God built me strong. God gave me an open eyes to see what's happening around me. God became my comfort, and in whom I found my peace. He became the center of my life. He became my everything. My scars were taken care of in the most loving way. God broke me away from anger, grief, depression, lust, addiction, and so much more. And I cry sometimes just thinking about how far God has brought me. I'm just so happy. I'm so content. And guess what? God didn't remove me from the circumstances to build me up. He didn't take me away from my environment even though it caused me pain. No. God used that same place and people, and in it, He directed me. He guided me in that same place. He came into my situation to walk it through with me and use what previously was breaking me to make me. He used what was previously holding me down to build me up strong, to make me the person that I am today. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I didn't have anybody else, because if I did, I would have probably walked away from God, because at that time, it was tough love. God was trying to get me to grow. He was trying to take me off, stop me from daydreaming, open up my eyes, and help me to have, a sense of reality. And now I'm free, and I still cling to God, and I will always cling on to God. He's still my everything. And after God made me all that I am, which I'm not finished growing yet, I still have a long way to go. Life is a long journey of learning. But it was after God had built me up and used that same situation that was breaking me to mold me and to build me strong and to make me a new creature. After God had made me all that I am, then He repositioned me and removed me from that place. After God knew that I was capable to identify what's good for me and what's not good for me, and after God knew that if He repositioned me in a place that I can thrive in it, He repositioned me and removed me from that place. I learned, God taught me how to take care of myself. He built up inner peace in me while I was still in my same situation. He built up peace in me. He gave me happiness that no man can steal. The Lord makes me so content. He helps me to learn to be content within myself and how to have my own inner peace that no one can take away from me. That no environment can take away from me. No. After God built me up and made me new, He brought me to a promised land where I had more love and positive relationships and people that would help me to grow closer to God. After God built me up and He knew that I could properly handle relationships and know how to love others and love myself, and after God had made sure that I found what my purpose was in Him, and after I built a good relationship with God and I became content being single and on my own, then after God knew I could steward all that He was going to give to me, then He repositioned me in a place where I could thrive. Now I cry tears of joy. Keep this in mind. Distraction can come in many different forms and ways, and is a tool that the enemy can use against the children of God. taking their attention and redirecting it away from God or the will of God. Distractions may be seamless or obnoxious. Either way, distraction is used by Satan to steal our focus on what really matters. Thanks for watching. Here's Psalms 55:22 for you to take away. Give your burdens to the Lord and He will take care of you. Give your burdens to the Lord and give God time. I didn't become all that I am in a couple months or just 1 year. Over 4 years, God has been able to heal me and restore me and make me a completely new creature, more like Him. And I couldn't be happier. Alright? Give your burdens to the Lord and He will take care of you. I can guarantee that. Give your burden to the Lord and have faith. He will take care of you. Goodbye and take care now.